We spoke to Chris Orty, Level Design Director, and Sebastian Laurent, Technical Director, about the performance updates in 2.4, Andreas Liebskind, Senior Game Designer, and Benz Kovacs, Junior Technical Designer, about the content update and game fixes.
We're going to be including a lot of new features from a performance perspective, the primary of which is a big community request to give more options. We have basically split out a lot of the rendering of the game into different quality settings. So as a player, you can go in and you can decide to pick what level of quality you want to render for example, objects or post-processing effects, for particles, for textures, for other things like that. We have some advanced settings that we've introduced, like 2-pass rendering. They can enable or disable tessellation. And in addition to that, we've also provided things like a VRAM counter in the menu so people can see a little bit of information about how much video memory they're currently consuming.
So the people who will get the biggest benefit from this update are the people who are mostly GPU bound, because we have not only offered options, but we have also rearranged the graphics settings that we use for the low spec to the high spec to split them a bit more apart, so that now we have a wider range to recover GPU performance and fine-tune it to your preference, to what is acceptable quality, while still providing you with the best performance you can get.
From a pure code side as well, we've done some optimizations on the GPU itself, so that, for example, volumetric fog or particle effects on different specs will be running at different efficiencies, but at a slightly reduced or increased quality, depending on which setting you have.
One of the main features coming for update 2.4 is resolution scaling that we have introduced originally in Rise, actually. So it's not something that people might not know of. The principle is actually fairly simple. It's to decouple the display resolution from the rendering resolution. So all of your UI will remain as crisp as you would expect it if you were playing, let's say, in 1080p, but at the same time you can say your rendering will occur at proportion of this resolution to recover GPU performance.
For players that have issues with GPU or are struggling with performance from a GPU perspective, this is probably one of the most significant things that they could do to actually, improve that.
Our previous performance patch focused specifically on CPU performance on the engine side. So this time we actually focused a bit more on the CPU side, but on the game code side. We have found quite a few improvements to make, so that should benefit everyone across the board.
In addition to that, you might see less stalling and frame dips, especially when you go to new compounds and new locations. I know that was a big complaint from players over time. A lot of those should be fixed by these optimizations as well, or at least significantly reduced. So hopefully that everyone will see a benefit from that. The thing with performance is that it's a very complicated problem to solve, especially with PC. You've got so many different hardware configurations, you have so many different possible things, from drivers, from resolution, and the goal with this update was giving players a bit more control themselves over how this performance is being spent. That obviously doesn't mean that we won't continue to do performance updates. We're going to be focused on performance for a long time to come yet. So once this patch is live, give it a shot, take a look at the different settings, just play around with them and see what works best for you. And please keep giving us feedback.
We have introduced some improvements to the level loading time, and that comes in 2 steps. One of them is that we've increased the speed at which the server loads, and we have also improved the client loading time. Keep in mind that it doesn't have any effect on matchmaking time, but after you have found a match, then you will notice a substantial improvement for the time it takes you to get into a game.
So for 2.4 we introduced 3 new weapons: a pistol, a shotgun and a crossbow. The pistol is the Nagant Officer Carbine. It features a longer barrel and a stock, so it behaves more like a rifle than a pistol. The shotgun is the Spectre Compact Shotgun, which is a version of the regular Spectre. This comes with a foregrip. Also a sawn-off barrel, and it has a wider spread but a shorter range. The third weapon is the crossbow shot bolt, which is a mixture of a shotgun and a crossbow. It has bolts that are tipped with shotgun shells, which will detonate on impact. And they will also set off a cone of shotgun pellets.
Every time we introduce a new weapon or a new weapon variant, what we try to do is to fill a gap that we find within our current arsenal. So for example, with the Officer Carbine, what we try to add is an early game weapon. It's a compact ammo weapon. It's basically a modification of the Officer pistol, just introducing as a rifle. So this is a chance for new players to unlock it early and have a different choice other than the Winfield. What we try to introduce with the shot bolt is that if you shoot at an AI, on the impact, the pellets go through the AI in a cone. So potentially, if you have a group of grunts in front of you, you can shoot at the first one, and that will most likely kill all of them in a group. This can be used as a tactic against players who are stacked up behind each other. So you shoot the first hunter, he'll die, and you will damage the second hunter as well. Another use case that we used during playtesting was when somebody's inside the building and you know that they are camping, they are hiding in a corner. You can just shoot this arrow at the wall, it will explode, and it will release a hail of shotgun pellets at the player.
We introduced also some changes to the Bloodline loop. The current progress is represented on the Bloodline screen as well. Before we did not have that feature. Now you see exactly how much XP do you need to close this loop again and to get the money reward. And also when you retire a hunter, there was an issue that no matter how much XP you collected, it was not accounted to the loot, so you did not get any money reward.
So we've been following the threads on Reddit and Steam and reading about what you guys think about the Water Devil and what changes do you suggest. The biggest complaint was that you couldn't sneak past by the Water Devil very easily because he would detect you from very far away even if you were crouched. And we think crouching in water is already punishing enough. So we changed the detection range for the Water Devil when you are crouching inside the water. We did not change the detection range when you are sprinting. So if you're in trouble or you are getting shot at and you need to sprint, the Water Devil will still detect you from the normal range. The issue you guys were the most vocal about was when you were on the edge of the water but on land, the Water Devil could still attack you. We fixed this and we hope this fix will improve your encounters with the Water Devil.
So thank you very much for joining us on this patch update. If you have any feedback for us, especially once this has gone live, you can contact us through the Discord, through the Reddit, and through the Steam forums. We do read everything that's on there. We spend a lot of time going through that stuff. So if you guys have anything feedback-wise for us, then please let us know. And thank you very much.
Achieved with CryEngine.
Like and share if you enjoy the video and think others might benefit from this, and of course subscribe and hit the notification button if you are new to the channel and want to be notified every time we post a video.